Hey guys, and welcome back to the bench. So today we got another unboxing to do. Today what we're going to be looking at is the Combrig 1 in 700 HMS Triumph. One of the two Swiftsure-class pre-dreadnoughts. So as I just said, this kit is from Combrig, and that is a Russian made model. It is in resin. And I thought we start off today by going over a bit of her history. So, HMS Triumph was one of two Swiftsure-class pre-dreadnought battleships, originally ordered by Chile during the Argentine and Chilean naval arms race. She was ordered under the name Libertad, or Liberty, along with her sister, Swiftsure, who was, I can't even say it, it's Spanish for Constitution. Anyway, the ship would come into possession of the Royal Navy following the treaty that was brokered by the British between Argentina and Chile, I believe in the early 1900s. And the treaty itself was something like a mini Washington naval treaty. The funny thing about this specific class of ships is that these ships had something called goose cranes, I think they're called, and these would be the only battleships in the Royal Navy that would had such cranes. Another thing I would like to point out about Combrig is there are some inaccuracies which I never understand how. So in the picture here, this is going to be shown as we work. It shows that the ship has torpedo net booms. This model does not come with them, and I shall show you guys that just here in a minute. So, let's go ahead and just open up the box real quick. And as you can see, like I said, the kit is in resin. And here is her hull. It's actually quite nice detail. I took out all the little packing foam pieces, so I didn't have to deal with them when I opened the box. Let's see if I can't get a bit closer to the camera here to show you guys. See if it'll focus. And I do apologize for any kind of glare that comes out of it, but as you can see, there is some nice deck detail in this model. It will need washed, of course, when it gets time to build her eventually. So as I said before, this kit does have the inaccuracies of it does not come with the spots, at least on first glance, to put the torpedo net booms. So as this gets built, or if you ever decide you want to build her, that's going to have to be scratch built onto her. Next out of the box, of course, you have all your parts that are going to be in a little baggie on their separate little trees and what's not. If you have methods to where you can replace those, I'd say go for it. So, first thing we're going to be looking at seems to be this piece here, the roof. You will have to, just by looking at it, there's a few spots that'll have to be cut and drilled out such as here, here, and several other spots, but this piece, it goes right here on top of the ship. Next up, we have parts of our superstructure. So of course you have both your main and your rear superstructure parts. The tops of said superstructures, I want to say right here you have two parts of what is known as the fighting tops, and right here is the pieces that your funnels mount into. This right here is of course your Admiral's Walk, which will go right here at the rear of the ship in this little slot right here. So put that off to the side. Of course, the kit will come with two funnels, both of which will go when it's time are here. Of course, they still need to be cut from their sprues. Got some lifeboats here. Another lifeboat, as well as I want to say this is steam powered motorboat. Do not quote me on that. I am not completely sure. This, I want to say, is two pieces of the fighting tops. So, am I 100% sure which ones? No. For all intents and purposes, I could even be wrong about that, and these are the guns. Next up is, of course, our little goose crane. As you can see, this little upside down, weird shaped L crane, which when it comes time to eventually put it on, will sit something like here on the ship at the edge. We of course get two of such cranes. The thing is that the other one, okay, there it is hidden all underneath the parts. Next up, we get our main turret. So if the ship carried 4 guns and 2 twins, and if I remember right, they were 12? No, wait. It was either 10 or 12-inch main guns mounted in a turret both fore and aft in the typical pre-dreadnought style. And of course, she would also carry a bunch of smaller caliber guns. So you have 2 little, I'm not sure what they're called for resin, but trees, I guess. You got 2 of these, each carrying what was probably tertiary guns, I believe the term is, for torpedo boat work. Another group of lifeboats. Next up is this sprue, and I 100% am not sure what these are. Perhaps these are for the torpedo net boons. Perhaps Combrig finally heard a number of people's complaints about this, and they finally decided to add in something to fix that issue to where you can put torpedo net boons on without having to scratch build them. Okay, next up is this piece, and I can be honest with you guys, I am not fairly sure what this part is. We'll probably find out when we look over at her instruction manual. So set that off to the side. Another whaler, I believe that's the term for their boats. 2 more pieces for the fighting tops. Next sprue we have some anchors, and we also have the capstans? Are those capstans? The little pieces that go here at the front of the ship that you wrap the anchors around. I'm pretty sure that's a capstan. Next one is your 4 guns. Okay, so these are definitely the guns, so the other one was definitely probably your parts for your fighting tops. Next up is this sprue, and I can't make heads and tails of what it is. This is probably the little marker, little pieces that you can set the lifeboats on that are mounted here more towards the middle of the ship. That's probably what these little things are. You know, I know this. But it seems like it. First it's paravanes and now it's these. All right. Next little tree we got is all of our searchlights. Got several of them in total, so I'm guessing this ship didn't have very many. Next is one of what seems to be 3 sprues of these are our davits that will be found around the ship. These, of course, is what is used to hold the boats. And I believe there is also 2 davits right there at the very front of the ship that also helps with something involving the anchors. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm not 100% sure. So we're gonna move those out of the way. Next thing we got is a bunch of our a number of our vents. I forget what these vents are usually called though. They're not just vents, they're anyone who knows the name for these vents, do please let me know. I would very much like to know what they're called, because I can't make heads or tails of what it's actually called. All right, next sprue, you got a bunch of tiny little pieces here. And the thing is, I can barely see them as well. So I'm not sure how many of you could actually see just from how far down I am. So get a little bit closer. Yeah, these are tiny pieces. I'm not 100% sure what they even are. So we'll put that off to the side. We'll learn what those are as we go. Another tree with a bunch of our boats. This little thing here, like I said, we got very, very small pieces in this thing. I'm gonna guess is something to do with range finding, maybe even lights. And finally, the last thing we're going to be looking at is this one, and I can tell you I'm not sure what each and every one of these pieces are for. So we're going to move that off to the side. So yeah, not 100% sure on what everything 100% is. Next thing that's going to be out of our box is very, very tiny photo-etch part. So let's see if I can't get it close enough where you can see it. So we have our anchors. I'm guessing this is something to do with the superstructure. A couple tiny little, what looks like guns. I'm not sure what those two parts are for. Spin it around so we get two of these in this kit. So that's nice. The kit does not come with railing, so that if you are interested, this will have to be something that you'll have to add on your own. If you have spare, you'll have to use those. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up our little thing on it. You get a nice, lovely little side and overview picture of the Triumph. And of course, it gives you a tiny bit of history and information on the ship. So she had a displacement of 11,800 tons, a complement of 700, a top speed of 20 knots, an armament of 4 10-inch guns in twin turrets. Okay, so they were indeed 10 and not 12. 14 7.5-inch guns in singles, 14 pounder guns, try saying that 5 times fast, 2 2-pounder guns, probably are saluting tubes, 4 Maximilians, I don't know, and 2 torpedo tubes, which are probably on a piece that doesn't actually exist for the model. All right. Then, of course, you get down here, little for history. HMS Triumph, Royal Navy battleship of the Swiftsure-class. HMS Triumph was launched on January 15th, 1903, was with the Channel Fleet until being transferred in March 1909 to the Mediterranean. In May 1912, she joined the 3rd Fleet at the Nore anchorage. In April 1913, HMS Triumph relieved HMS Tamar at Hong Kong. At the outbreak of World War I, HMS Triumph was recommissioned using crew from various gunboats, took part in Operation Qingdao, supported by Japanese ships. Transferred to the Mediterranean Fleet between January and February 1915 and took part in the bombardment of the Dardanelles forts. So she was involved in Gallipoli. While bombarding Gaba Tepe, she was torpedoed by the German U-boat U-21, and within half an hour she had capsized and sank with a loss of 73 men. I think her wreck has been found, and it's a diving attraction now. I'm not sure. We get a little bit of information for painting her, which is a little bit which is nice. So it says Triumph and I cannot speak today. Blech. Triumph and Swiftsure were in overall Admiralty light gray. Color code RN03, likely with steel decks, painted Admiralty dark gray, and with natural teakwood decks. So, if you want to paint her as she appeared in the war, I'd say go with that. There are models I know, and I think I've seen a couple pictures well, paintings more than anything of her in the Victorian scheme, where her hull's black, superstructure's white, and then things like the funnel and masts are the typical naval buff. So we're gonna flip this over, and of course we get the construction assembly guide. So of course you have your table telling you what all is with the kit. And then, yeah, this is another thing that Combrig is bad about. It's quite literally it's quite literally pictorial. You have to follow the pictures just to build up the ship. So it's telling you where everything goes, pretty much, and how to build her. Not a model for the faint of heart, I'm afraid. But for anyone who is interested, these kits are capable of becoming very beautiful models. And with that, my friends, that will conclude our look at the British pre-dreadnought battleship, HMS Temeraire. So I'd like to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you all have a nice day. I hope you all have a nice week. Take care of yourselves, and I shall see you all again here fairly soon. This has been Captain Charlemagne, and I'm signing off. Ta-ta for now, everyone.